Hey there, collectors. Welcome to our special announcement. We have a special guest joining us today, Rob from RS Propmasters. Hey, Rob, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, so stoked to have you on the show. We've got the whole crew here today. Chris, Matt, Jason, how you guys doing?
Doing
Very
great.
good.
You guys as excited as I am about this announcement?
Very.
I think I'm the most excited.
Yeah, I'm not as excited as Chris, but yes.
Yeah,
I think I'm quite excited for
My pants are getting tight.
I think I'm as excited as Chris on this one.
yeah.
If you come to California, Rob, we can touch tummy sticks.
Oh man,
Here we go again.
I've been practicing.
Really like the shirt there, Rob. That's you're sporting a pretty cool shirt.
Thanks. Medium fits really well as well. So
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
nice. Medium, a medium's fitting you.
it's not medium.
That's even harder to believe, you know. But anyway, before we get into the announcement, wanted to just do a couple of things. First of all, wanted to congratulate Rob on his 50th birthday that just passed. Happy birthday there, Rob.
Thank you for that, Steve.
So
What's
that
the
was-
actual number, Rob? Yeah. Do we know the actual number?
49.
Okay.
Okay. Well, happy 49th there, Rob. And then this past week you had an announcement of a new helmet that you're producing. So I'm going to pull that up here. There's the video that you did, Project Hoth. Tell us about the helmet, Rob.
Well, before I do, just so everyone knows, I've now moved into this T-shirt, and they're gonna have to prize it off my cold dead body.
That's right.
What is Barry?
Yeah, Project Hoth. Well, this is going to be an interesting thing. I'm sure people can quite easily guess what's probably going to occur, but we thought we'd do it anyway. Maybe they weren't expecting this helmet though, because this has been something that's been on the go for, I don't know if it's 3 or 4 years now. I'm not quite sure how long it is, but it's definitely been a long time coming.
How many Project Hoths are there going to be?
I guess there's going to be at least a couple more. I guess.
Yeah.
People were wondering about that. I think it looks great, especially on the bust. That's a cool addition there.
Yeah.
Just before people try and rip me apart on this, that's actually just a Snowtrooper bust that we put it on. So
yeah,
I know about the inaccuracies, but we just wanted to get a feel for how it fitted.
The chest plate is
fitted on
different
there
as well, right?
It's got some different greeblies on it,
different.
and
yeah.
and the shoulder bells are upside down.
Still, it just gives
on
it
one
that
of them.
Yeah, and it's going to look great next to our existing Snowtrooper helmets. It's really gonna.
So this to me is one of those fascinating helmets with the Star Wars universe, because what is it? Why does it exist? I'm unsure. So do you think this was all the Snowtroopers were going to be like this originally? Because they didn't need a commander.
I think so, right?
It was probably their prototype, and they needed an extra one, and that was what was lying around, right?
Or do you think they were just like, well, let's use it as the hero one because it's a close-up shot, and
I think
that would work.
I think it was that the neck piece was too difficult for them to walk around or move around in, so they decided to chop it off and put the vinyl one.
Well, have you guys ever read through John Molo's like book of notes and sketches and things like that? So designing this is actually supposed to be taking away from Corey and Joe Johnson's artwork and conceptual work, and he had put this as the main Snowtrooper, and even went as far as to initially put like the TIE pilot jumpsuits or even the Rebel orange jumpsuits by changing the color and putting them in that to differentiate it. And then when they started gearing him up, it looked a little too much. They wanted to mimic the stormtroopers, but put them in the element of Hoth, and they started sort of messing around with the idea. And then it went from having the snowtroopers, and then they wanted a couple of commanders. And Chris, what you said is partially correct. The shaped face was a little bit too difficult, so they thought the two-piece cowl was a lot easier for production process and ABS process.
And
they
just move your head when you're
acting. To move your head to be able to see, because the eyes are higher up and very tiny.
Well, running and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's tough.
So they decided, let's give this guy, a blaster, have him be a one-off, give him a quick little part, and this way he could be the commander. And yeah, they did it for pretty much ease and convenience, but they were hoping to make most of them like this. But it's interesting the last-minute changes that they made. Yeah. It's a great little read if you go through some of the ideas and notes of how it progressed to what it is now.
If you look at the scene where they're in the AT-AT and he's talking to General Veers, he gets his orders. You can see he just turns his whole body.
He does like
without moving his head.
He's like a neck brace, right, Steve?
Yep.
He does like the neck brace look.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Rob, I think we're all super excited about getting this, and thanks for bringing it to all the collectors out there.
I've been bugging you for like a year for this thing, haven't I?
We did talk about it quite a while ago, and if you remember, we did say, well, we've not really got the time to waste on creating a fan sculpt when we know that this is is out there and may happen one day, and I'd much rather wait and see if it can happen, and it's happened.
So okay, very good. So we should get on to the announcement now, because I'm sure people are looking at the clock like 7 minutes and they haven't said what it is yet. Well, the truth of the matter is there was a reason why we showed the video we just showed, because here is your helmet.
My God.
Might be slowing down a little bit.
I think that's the music.
Oh my God! Wait? A lot of people are probably asking themselves, "Wait a second, what did we just see there?"
Tell Clarky we want more bass next time. More bass.
So, Rob, what did we just see?
Okay, let's break it down a little. We actually saw a lot in that video, and I'll try and take you through and explain the importance of some of the little bits that were in there. So we found out, I don't know, 4 years ago or 3 years ago, it was many years ago now, we found out that this Snow Commander helmet casting existed. So we were trying to work out a deal and an arrangement so that we could make the Snow Commander helmet. Just like weeks ago now, when we actually made an agreement and we were due to collect the piece, that's when we first saw the photographs of what it was. And the minute I saw it, I was like, this is not the Snow Commander helmet. This is the actual sculpt of what became the Snow Commander helmet and obviously became the Snowtrooper helmet. So for me personally, that went from being a really cool helmet that we were going to make, this extra insane piece that's, I don't know, is this heard of before? I can't think of an example where we've had a copy of a sculpt in like this. I was completely blown away.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So what we thought would be really cool is the minute I saw the sculpt, I was like, you know, I think I'm more excited by the sculpt because of that famous photograph of them, of them creating the Snowtrooper.
Do you have that photograph, Steve?
Yeah, I do. So let me just we'll do some switching over here and pull that up. So let's see. Share. Stop screen. Share. Here we go.
Yeah.
So that's it. I mean, the significance of that sculpt piece without this photograph would be diminished. This just makes it. The fact that we've got this photograph and then we've got this casting that matches this thing exactly. I mean, I was going over this photograph. Can you zoom in any on that?
Let's see.
Because there are some things that just stand out straight away.
I don't think I can with any good improvement in accuracy.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, but I don't know that it's improving resolution. But
looks okay.
Yeah.
There's things that I notice straight away, even from a photograph of a negative, of the mold, like the depth of the eyes.
The eyes, yeah. Hair as well.
Yeah. On the sides of it, and then the closer you look, you're like, wow, everything. So the minute I saw it, it was just like, this is just a phenomenal piece, and this piece deserves to be in people's collections. That's what I thought. Whether people want it or not, that's another thing. But I think people need the opportunity. This can't just not be available. It can't just be locked away. I mean, for 40 years now, it's been hidden away. No one's been able to get this. No one's really known about it. No one's had any opportunity, and it was potentially it could have just been destroyed and lost forever.
And like you said, Rob, is there any other helmets that we know of that you have the opportunity to own something like this? Like, is there any other?
Well, obviously, all of the. I mean, what you're looking at there, that photograph is a live cast.
Yeah.
Of a guy, and then this is sculpted over the top of it. We asked Brian, does he think that's the same one from A&H that he sculpted the TK on, and he doesn't remember it, so maybe it's not, maybe it's a different one. But this is the process, how they do it. And the minute I saw the this piece, I was like, okay, so let's figure out how this exists. So, and that was why we spoke to Brian and why he was so instrumental in explaining to us how it worked. So they would make a mold of this sculpt exactly as you see it there. Well, minus the disc that they've just placed on there. Clearly, they're not part of the sculpt. They're an added piece to mock it up. But they would make a mold of that. Then they would make plaster copies to create all of the vac form molds. So if you can imagine, they'd take a big chunk of plaster and then they would chop away the bits that they didn't want to create the face. And then, I mean, I would assume that to do the dome, they would just kind of fill up as much as they needed to create the dome. And then they would do the back and the cowl and so on and so on. So what we've got, as far as we are aware, is it's not a production mold, but it's obviously a mold taken off a casting that came out of the mold that they made that piece from.
Oh.
Right.
Concept.
Yeah.
So this was made by famed modeler Janet Stevens.
Mm-hmm.
She's done quite a few movies that we're all familiar with, but she's an amazing sculptor and modeler. And having done this, I think
she worked on Boba Fett as well, didn't she?
She did, yeah. She worked on Boba Fett and quite a few additional. She was working closely with Joe Johnston before her and John Molo were taking these designs, casting them, and then turning them into ABS production use pieces.
So Rob, how did you use this to get to your Snowtrooper Commander that you just announced?
To keep it as accurate as possible, we shortcutted quite a lot of it, because when they go from this clay sculpt to the plaster, and then they will make the vac forming tool, in that process things are going to get lost, or intentionally, probably in this case. You see the line on the face.
Yeah, what looks very much like a Simpsons smile to me. I can't. I look at it. I see a Simpsons character whenever I see that line.
Chris, close your ears a minute, because this pains me to say this, but I see First Order in that shape.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
They borrowed some of the First Order design from some of the earlier concept drawings, because that line that looks like the smile actually connects to the shield, like the shield coming down.
Yeah,
I don't mind the First Order Stormtrooper helmet. It's okay.
That hurt me saying that. But anyway, let's move on.
Yeah.
So when they've made the vac forming tools, when they change it from this into the vac form helmets, there is an element of cleaning up that they will do, and they will sharpen areas, and they'll remove. Can you see the texture in there from the tooling on the clay? Mm-hmm. They will clean that up, and around the eyes from the mold that the pull that we took out of the mold compared to the eyes that we took straight out of the Snowtrooper helmet, they had sharpened them up, and they change in detail ever so slightly. Not a great deal. It's just where they've been retooled.
These are deeper also, aren't they? Aren't these way deeper on the sculpt than they are on the helmet itself?
Mm-hmm.
In which area?
The eyes themselves.
Oh, the actual depth of the eyes.
Yep.
Yes, but I think they've lost that when they went to the vac forming tool.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't need it, because they cut out or whatever. But there's other things as well, like the actual depth of the detail. The inner piece and then the outer goggle area. Some of those
even the nostrils, Rob, look like they have more depth than the initial sculpt.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. So let me make sure I understand this right, Rob. You primarily are mating the face mask with the existing dome? Is that how it comes together?
Basically, what we did was kind of reversed the way that the Snowtrooper was made. So we've kept all of the shape of the Snow Commander, and then we just cut out the eyes and the nostrils and transposed the ones that we know are from a production made helmet. So we know those are right. We could have tried to sculpt them to get them to look right, but why do that when you've got the thing that is right? So we cut it out and we drop the eyes back in so that we know they're absolutely spot on. Because I mean, they must have made these tools, and then I presume that they didn't change the tool. I think they must have just vac formed it and then chopped the areas off that they didn't want.
Yeah.
So what we're going to get is a concept Snowtrooper based off of a sculpture of a concept.
Yeah. Wow.
Nobody else has ever done that.
No, well, as far as I'm aware, I've never seen anything like this come into the community.
I've been studying, collecting, researching, and pretty much going through anything ephemeral or permanent that is concept based on, you know, the modelers, the sculptors, Ralph and Joe, and I've never in 15 years seen anything like this as direct. Even the archives doesn't have a lot of the original concept stuff, because as you see it in its clay form and its sculpted form, after it was revised, that was a resource. They reused it. They didn't keep the clay. They reused the clay for other purposes.
Yeah.
I sent you over, Steve. I sent you over an image of the Stormtrooper helmet.
Yeah. Let me go ahead. Let me go ahead and pull that up. I've got two images here.
Yeah, I think the other image is the same image, just blown up and next to the finished helmet. But you can see here what happens is there are changes that are required to go from the design that you want to the physical practicalities of how you're making the helmet, in this case vac forming. So you can see that ears were added and that details have been added into the nostril area. So whether or not that's happened at a later date on this clay sculpt, I guess we can only guess on that. But if you can imagine that helmet, that sculpt being found somewhere, someone's got a mold of it, and then, you know, getting a copy of that helmet, that's how insane this Snowtrooper one is.
Right.
Crazy.
So I'm going to pull up the video again of it rotating, and I want you to walk us through. You know, Chris was getting to the point. Okay, what are we getting? You know, what are we getting here, right? So let me pull this up. So here is your work in progress, right? And this is actually a video of what is spinning around right behind you.
Yeah.
And so you still have some work to do on this. So walk us through what remains to be done on this and what the final, I guess I don't know, we call it maybe a prop replica, Rob. What's the final prop replica going to look like?
Okay, so really what we're looking at here, the mold that we got was a fiberglass mold, and down the side of the face there was mold damage, because pulling something out that's got those undercuts out of a fiberglass mold can be a little tricky, shall we say. So as some castings have been pulled out of it, damage has occurred. So what we wanted to do was obviously restore the damage. So we created a rubber one, which you saw in the video. And then what we were also doing in that video that you played was we were creating the jacket for the subsequent or production mold that we will make from the cleaned up version. This being the cleaned up version. So this for all intents and purposes, is going to become the master that we will make our fresh mold of, which was out of the jacket that we've already done all of that work on.
And you're going to put those circular discs on the cheeks?
Yes, we still, when we talked about this with Steve was very interested in showing the work that goes into it and more of the background of the piece. So this at the moment is not quite the final master. The finished piece is going to be finished on the bottom. This is not a helmet to wear. It's the eyes are going to be as they are there. It's basically, this is an exact copy of that sculpt, or an exact copy of that sculpt as exists. We're thinking we need to finish it in like a satin grey. This is in just a primer grey at the moment. So I think we need a slightly warmer grey and a nicer finish. And obviously the discs to complete it, as we see in the photograph, which are probably going to be removable. So that, you know, it's down to personal preference then. Because this is the piece exactly as it was from the mold. But if you want to recreate the photograph, we can have them attach.
Question for you. Why in gray? Why not white?
To match the color of the sculpt, I think.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Yeah.
I agree.
I think to me it looks, and the discs need to be the contrasting white color.
Oh, contrasting. Yeah, just to because this particular piece as it stands didn't move on in the process, so we're getting it as it stands.
I'm just asking so everybody knows.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, no,
I think it's, without thinking about it too much, I think it needs to be that grey color. We want to really, it's a representation of the sculpt of the moment in time of this process.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's what I want for myself.
That's the thing for me, Rob, is having that, nobody has anything like this, right? A casting from all the way back to the concept, casting of the concept. That is just blows my mind. And to see what this originally looked like without the flares in the dome, with the curly mouth, the deeper eyes, the deeper nose, the rigid mask.
All of this is how it was intended, and then how we see it on screen is the physical representation and the changes that they needed to make to produce it. One of the things that you've probably not really noticed and that you don't think about, and we didn't think about, and had to backtrack a little bit when we realized the face is set back by a good, I don't know, more than, I'm going to say about 10 or 12 mil, but that's probably not going to mean much to you. I don't know, 1/4 of an inch, is it, or something?
Yeah.
No, the actual eyes, whereas the Snowtrooper, they're just glued straight to the front.
Yeah,
you can see it there as it spins.
Yeah.
So that it's got some real depth to it, which is, I guess, unique to this piece, because in the process of realizing this as a movie prop, that's lost. They didn't try and put it back in. It was just. It was lost to it, and that's something that when you actually see it really stands out, that depth.
Well, and the discs are more of the Macquarie style concept, right? Coming from that,
from the drawings,
right.
Yeah, I love the idea.
We see the smile, and we see the discs, and we see that real definite shape which you see on the Snow Commander, and it kind of gets lost on the Snowtrooper, but that real shape that you've got on the profile there,
more menacing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
More menacing. And the bottom's going to be closed up?
Yeah, that's all going to be filled so that it's just it will be hollow, obviously because of the weight and as you would expect, but it's going to be there'll be no openings to it. There'll just be a fitting or a fixture so that we can put it on a stand.
Yeah, so, Rob, you and I were kind of debating what to call it, right? Should we call it a helmet? Should we call it something else? And once you close it up like that, it's maybe not even a prop replica because it's of a concept, right?
I think that's just to finish it off. I think it would just look nicer. It'll look like a finished piece, especially with it not having, and nobody wants to see raw fiberglass like that.
No.
So
especially with it not being a helmet.
Something for people to compare it to would be Regal Robot's Tauntaun. That was a clay sculpture. It's gray.
Oh, I see.
It's not a finished product.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's this is something completely different for Simon and me to be looking at making. It's kind of the same, but then at the same time, is it a one-to-one maquette? It's kind of what it is at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Without all the finishing and the processing, we've stepped right back to the early stages of its creation.
Glorious.
Yeah, this is gonna, Chris. Imagine this next to the nice, shiny, finished Stormtrooper Commander, right?
Yeah.
The two of them side by side.
Oh, I could just dream of Veers and AT-AT and Snowtrooper and Commander and this. Oh,
I mean, I don't want to take away from the prop, but when you see the actual work that went into sculpting this,
mm-hmm.
and how it looks, and there's less flare on the helmet than we see in the production ones.
Yeah, you can notice how narrow the top cap is.
More straight.
It's really interesting.
Rob, weren't you saying something about matching the imperfections in the dome to a production piece? When we were
it's not just the dome; it's the dome, the cowl that wraps around with the squares in, all the shaping on that, and the eyes themselves. All of them match really well to the production made Snowtrooper helmet. The dome is probably the easiest thing because I know some of you guys have got the Snowtrooper there. If you look down from above on the helmet, it's kind of wibbly wobbly and it's really asymmetrical. And we put that on top of the piece that came out of the cast, and it's like opening a safe. We just turned it, and it gets to the same point and drops down.
Crazy.
And that was, we was like, oh my God, look at that. I mean, and there's certain things, if you look at your helmets, if you follow your fingers around the edges, you'll find there's a definite flat spot on one side. And we see all of that on the sculpt.
I just think it's great that you can trace that lineage all the way back from the screen used to this, right? And all the imperfections match. That's fantastic. So, any other thoughts about the piece, guys, before we start talking about how
Rob, did you mention the base? What you're going to do for the base? Do you have any ideas?
We want to do something special for the base. We're not sure. We're working on some different ideas. We can update as we move along with that.
Cool.
But it's not going to be like a helmet stand. It's going to be probably a wooden base.
Okay.
Probably CNC'd with some new friends that we've made. So that's going to get interesting.
Awesome. Cool.
Beautiful.
Yeah, very good.
I think because this piece is so different, it gives us a little bit more license to try some other things and come up with something very specific and unique for this particular piece. And that's exciting for us because it's kind of something new once you've developed something and that's in place, and then you on to the next thing. Whereas with this one, we can just focus on this, and it only has to work for this,
right?
To finish this piece rather than work for a number of different pieces.
That's true.
Rob, this thing is so different and so special and never seen before. Like I just honored that you're allowing us to do it as an exclusive. Like, it's crazy.
Well, it's new. It's new to us. This particular piece, and when we thought about it, it's a natural fit with you guys because this is something for a collector. A guy who's going to costume, he's not going to want this. You can't wear it. It's not a helmet. This is definitely a piece for a collector, and probably not for all collectors either. It's quite it's quite a niche thing.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's talk about the collectors on our group and how they're going to get their hands on this. I think we're going to run this very similar to the way we've run the Enfys Nest exclusive from NYC on our group. We had a conversation about how many in the edition size should be, and I think we all settled on we felt comfortable with an edition size of 50. So we're planning on 50, although we are reserving the right to change that in case the circumstances warrant changing it. So
yeah, I think we just don't know the interest, right? We don't know what the interest is going to be, what people are going to think. So let's just kind of figure that out as we go along.
Yeah. So the initial thought is 50. We're going to do it the same thing. We're going to make it open to existing members of the group to say that they have interest in pre-ordering it. Right. So we'll create a post on our Facebook group. And if you have interest in pre-ordering it, it's not actually pre-ordering it. It's expressing your interest in doing so.
Right.
You'll put your name on that list, and we'll keep going until we hit our 50. And then after that, everybody will go wait list. Then at a future date, Rob will share a link with the people who have expressed interest, so they can actually go out and order and place their order on it. And let's see, I think that's how. Oh, and then we're going to make that limited to just existing members for 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
And then after the 3 days are over, we'll do like we did last time. We'll start accepting new people to our group again, and then the new people can hop in, assuming that there's any left.
Right.
And so what I'm going to do is I need to refine the rules, and then in a couple days I'll post those rules and the post to the group so you all can hop in there and
we don't know. There's some things we don't know, right? We don't know cost quite yet, Rob.
Mm-hmm.
And so or when exactly we're going to be able to get these in people's hands, like a finished product. Correct.
I think there's just about one thing that I know. The minute I saw this and recognized exactly what it was, I knew that we were going to make this so that I could get a copy of it. Because this is just, to me, it's an amazing piece. Now, people out there may not have any interest in it because it wasn't in the movie or for whatever reason, which is cool. So we don't know. This is new territory for us, and I guess it's new territory because this is I've never known of it before. So it's going to be. I'm really interested to see the comments and what you guys think about this.
Yeah.
I mean, sure.
The closest thing that we have are all those concept pieces that we've been getting from from Regal, right? So Chris mentioned the Tauntaun, but there's the Jabba and the Gamorrean and whatever. Those are the two. Oh, and now the two Dejarik pieces that were concept, right? So they're all concept pieces, and that is a special kind of I don't know. I'm one of them, so I'll call them weird collectors that really are into that concept stuff, right? And this is the opportunity to get a helmet concept piece with clear lineage.
Yeah.
Man, this is unheard of.
Mind blowing.
This is going to be a huge addition to that type of collector's collection.
I honestly think that the people in our group specifically will be interested in this very much so.
Well, and you might get some people that don't collect helmets that are interested in this.
Yeah, that's a good point.
In sort of Maquette style form. I have to say, as somebody who has a very strong focus on the concept stuff, I've not only do I love Hoth and the Snowtrooper Commander, but seeing something like this where it's a direct derivative of the sketch work and concept work it's just, Rob, like you said, it's amazing. There's almost, you can't put it into words.
No,
you really can't. I keep looking at this and I'm just, it sounds so silly to say, but it's just hard to fathom. Like, wow, this can actually be my collection.
When we got the photographs of the mold, I was looking at that photograph of the sculpt and the mold, and I was just staring at them, comparing them for I don't know, a couple of hours, just absolutely mesmerized, because I just think it's amazing, absolutely amazing. So this is something that needs to be shared with somebody who's interested in it, and if we can do that, I'll be really proud, because that's exactly what we're here for. That's our goal.
Let's talk about that for a second, Rob, because I want people to appreciate what you're doing here. You could very easily keep this to yourself, make your production Snowtrooper Commander helmets, and keep this in your company's collection of original parts.
In a fireproof box.
And in a fireproof box.
Right.
And then never actually allow anybody to get their hands on this, right? But
which a lot of people do. A lot of collectors do. There's a lot of black hole collections that have stuff like this that people never see the light of day.
Right. And you waited 4 years, so you had to go through a lot to get this, right? And here you are sharing it with our group, with our community, and that's the general, not just you Simon and gang, right, are sharing this, and the generosity of you making that available to us, and then on top of that making it exclusive to our group is just mind blowing, Rob. And I think I'm speaking for all of us, and how much we really appreciate what you're doing for us in the community here. Really,
but
me specifically,
this is what makes it special for us. This is why we want to do this, because it's not just I can't say this clear enough. It's not just about finding something and thinking, shit, we could make this and we could make X amount of money and that would be fantastic. It's about if something isn't available, that's the thing that we want to try and find, because if somebody's making something, this guy's making phenomenal Darth Vader helmets, so why would we try and get into that? Because that's not what we're about. We want to bring something new and fresh, and something that the community cannot get, and that's, in this case, a Snow Commander helmet with this lineage. That's without question, there it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can I ask one question?
Yeah,
one more
for
question.
it,
Rob, a lot of people are saying in the comments I've heard a lot of people actually ask if this was going, before they knew what it was, if this was going to be Boba Fett price range. I've been telling them probably not. I hope I wasn't outspeaking myself.
It's difficult to say because we've not finalized the base and all of that kind of stuff.
Okay.
But it's not going to be painted Boba Fett price. No.
Yeah. Okay, good.
No.
Yeah. Right.
And just quickly to go back on the number. So Steve had mentioned that we reserve the right to adjust the number based on demand, but it doesn't mean that we're necessarily going to go from 50 to 250.
No.
Right.
It's just the option that should demand increase significantly, we want to sort of meet that halfway, but within a reasonable manner. So there's a lot of things like price, edition size, et cetera, that will be, determined and be worked out as we progress forward.
I think what the edition size, I think after talking to you guys, the edition size should be as small as possible, but with as many people that want it getting it.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd be bummed if somebody in our group didn't, like, if it was 25 and somebody in our group was like, "Oh, I really
26."
want it." Yeah, they wanted 26 and they can't get it. So
Yeah,
that would be a bummer. So yeah, we're gonna get it to the people who really want it.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Any final thoughts, guys, before we wrap this one up?
No, it's
Really
exciting.
looking forward to this.
Thanks, Rob.
Exciting
Yeah.
times.
Yeah. Thank you,
Later
Rob.
on, I've been waiting 15 years for something like this, so thank you.
this is coming at this moment in time after the trauma that we've been through. It's nice to be able to give something back, especially to all the people who've been there for us, really,
Right.
and have been patient and have waited that extra time that's been necessary for us to get back up to the organization where we needed to be to continue in what we were doing. So for this to come along at this time as well, it's kind of nice, and it's kind of a reminder about what we do with the support that we get. Because if we'd have not been able to continue because situation was worse, then this would not be happening. It's as simple as that. It would have just remained in the collection where it was and would probably never have seen the light of day.
Yeah. So everybody stay tuned to this channel. We're going to have some update videos on this, hopefully with some good behind the scenes making of videos. And
With lots of stalker Polly behind everybody.
Yeah, with Polly behind.
I hope
That
so.
was hilarious.
And okay, yeah. So thanks everybody. Have a good one.
Thanks.
Thanks.